Okay, welcome back to another episode of Event Horizon. I'm your host, as always, Tyler Godin. I'm here with Sami and Will, and unfortunately, we seem to be missing Dino today due to academic reasons. But we're gonna do our best to get along without him. And so, first week back to school and in a new country for one of us. So, how's everybody been?
It's been chaotic. Obviously, we didn't record last week just because I went kind of moving. I'm in like my little cell here in London, but it's definitely been really close to the city. I've been going out a lot. Big plans coming.
Oh yeah.
What you guys?
But you, Will?
It's been a pretty standard first week. Had more work than I expected, but that kind of sucked. Weekend was fine. Went out a couple times. Nothing too crazy, but
And I'm still home and I haven't actually started yet because I don't start till Wednesday. So I haven't done anything.
Lucky.
But yeah. All right. Well, now that that's out of the way, we missed last week, so we're gonna kind of try to like do a hybrid of just combining last week and this week because there's been, I mean, taking a look at those 2 weeks in summation, there's kind of a lot of stuff. So we're gonna try to go over it. So I think we should start off with music, and I guess biggest name is definitely gonna be Eminem.
Hmm.
Sonny,
And
the big Eminem fan. What say you? What say you on this topic?
Gordon's a big Eminem fan.
I'm
I'm an Eminem fan, but new Eminem I love shitting on because he's just not as talented as, not even in the same as a. So I forget what one of our friends at Stratosphere he once was, which I think is just it's so true. And I tried listening to it. I also I came in with somewhat optimistic. I thought the album cover and title was cool.
it was very cool.
I thought
That was a very cool
Kamikaze was
album cover.
like not terrible for like dropped out of nowhere, but once I started listening and I saw snippets on Twitter of it getting roasted, I was like, yeah, he's done. He's been done for a while.
As far as what I think, honestly, I think people's tastes have changed more than he's actually declined as an artist. Because I like the way people talk about it, you would think he's like 10%, like a tenth as good as he was. And I don't think that's the case. I think it's more of, obviously he's declined a bit, but I think it's more of the changing landscape and his music is the same. Like I listened to it, and even being as big an Eminem fan as I could, I was like, okay, I'm okay with like 2 or 3 songs on there that I may listen to again, but it's like, it was just a lot of throwaway crap. And, nothing that stuck out to me and nothing I'd probably go back to. But you always have his hits to look back on, and I don't really see it as tarnishing his legacy because he's putting out the same type of music that he's always put out, and if you like it, you're gonna listen to it. So it's whatever.
Yeah, first of all, a couple.
Congo.
As you guys know, I despise this artist in general. I mean, not despise, but I just think he's overrated. Don't like him. And there was just a couple questionable features in the first place on it, like a Young Ma feature, like that was just questionable. The Juice World feature was kind of surprising too. Just like it makes you wonder, was this song made before Juice World died? Was this some kind of cut that Eminem got a hold of? But that Juice World cut was really good, but Eminem's verse just totally kills it. So that's a real shame. But it sounds like that song's gonna be popular because it's on the top of the charts right now and already 17 million streams on Spotify. It's pretty impressive.
I don't think it's that bad. I think people are saying it's a lot worse than it is. I don't think it's that bad.
The whole album or just the song?
That song.
Yeah,
I like the Juice WRLD part. I like it, but
yeah, I think it's fine.
I don't like
I
Eminem's
think
cheesy lines.
I think this alludes to our previous conversation where Gordon had go put it well. It's like changing the guard, like all these older guys who were great in their prime still probably have it. Some of them. It's just like we're moving on to a new style, a new sound.
I think it's more taste than actual like decline in ability. Which I mean, obviously there is some decline in ability. Like nobody's gonna argue that, but I think it's just more. I think it's more taste in landscape and than anything else. But yeah, I think.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think about the Ariana Grande line? Did you hear that?
I
don't know why people are like, oh my god, Eminem said something controversial. Like, he's been doing that for like 20 years.
I think it's Eminem,
longer than that.
Expected. Obviously, it's like not a line in good taste, but I don't think
he has much worse lines than that.
Yeah, that's.
He didn't have like 9 verses on like Columbine.
Yeah. I just don't know if he's in the position at this point of his career to. He doesn't have the talent or the ability right now to be making statements like that, lines like that. Just
he's always
totally
he's
not in good taste.
And I'm gonna play a bit of devil's advocate. I think for someone, especially in like a genre like hip hop, to like be good at such a young age, I think it's like almost impossible to still be good at like 45, whatever he is. Like he had like you eventually run out of things unless you change your sound, and I don't think he's someone. No, it's
I
not a
think
bad
he's
thing if
only
you change
I
your
think he's only
sound.
good on diss tracks because that Machine Gun Kelly diss track was like I was
Oh
like
yeah,
okay
that,
this sounds like
yeah.
vintage
No, he
Eminem.
like he shows her once in a while. Like, and even there were some parts
Shows
of
he's
this
still got it.
project.
He still got it.
He still does, but
Yeah.
he's definitely yeah. I
Yeah,
think
if
I
it
might
makes
forget
him
that.
if it makes him happy to keep making music, go ahead.
Yeah,
I don't care. There's
He
plenty of
says
other
a couple
stuff to
times
listen
he's
to.
not ready to retire. He says that
Yeah.
a couple times on
It's
the
like
on.
if it makes him happy
his
to make
name
music,
value will make
hey,
him a ton of money whenever he drops something.
exactly. And you know people are gonna listen to it regardless, and if they like
Yeah.
it, good. You know, it's whatever.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I think that's good enough for that one. Next is Mac Miller. I have to say, just right at the beginning, not a Mac Miller fan really at all. So
I'm
this
I'm
one
not really either. I'm
this
not
one was
really
just
either.
more of the same for me. So I listened to it and I was like, okay, but then I really didn't have anything else to think.
Yeah. Sonny, you want to go?
No, you can go. You're started.
Yeah, I just wasn't really a fan of him that much when he was alive. Wasn't a fan of swimming, and it's just his style to me isn't really. It's too slow. It's not really that much going on like with his flow to me, but I can see why people like him just because he's got some pretty introspective lyrics.
I think
But
he's very talented. It just doesn't interest me.
yeah,
I
but
was.
there were some good songs, some good interesting like little instrumental parts, but nothing really special for me.
personally, I'm not like a Mac Miller stan by any means. I have always enjoyed his music. I think old Mac Miller wasn't that great, even though that's like the one that people look back to. But I think from Divine Feminine to Swimming is like showed an immense growth in his kind of ability. I think Swimming is my favorite Mac Miller album. I think Divine Feminine is his best. And this, I was reading about, this is kind of like part two of Swimming. I think most of this stuff was kind of completed. I don't think it was a lot of like just random snippets combined. I did enjoy this album a lot. I don't think like it's like a phenomenal album like I'm going to be listening to for years or whatever, but I thought it was just kind of a mellow, as long as it had introspective kind of thoughts on like his growth as an artist and just kind of like his struggles with anxiety and drugs, stuff like that. So I think it's one of the better albums that's dropped in recent memory just because we've had such a lack of good music.
You know what's interesting is it probably was a lot more complete stuff because honestly, a lot of like albums released after somebody dies, they don't feel like actual albums. They feel like just crap sewn together. This felt more like an actual album.
Yeah,
so
this did feel more.
Yeah. So this makes you think it was probably almost done.
I agree.
And that's what like I'm reading the Apple description. This one guy, I forget his name. He said like these are all things he's been working on Mac Miller for a while, and he's kind of touched them up.
That makes sense. Okay. Well, next is the Lil Baby single.
Yeah, I really, really like this single. I thought it was probably the best single drop this year. Really hard. It's got that classic Lil Baby flow, but kind of a new twist on it. Of course, it's not really a copy of any other song, but I think it's a really good cut for Baby.
Yeah. I liked it a lot, and that was one of the first things we've had on this podcast that I've listened to it once and I immediately just threw it into like a playlist and I was like, okay, good.
Yeah, I've listened to it quite a few times.
I'm a pretty big Lil Baby fan, but just me personally, it didn't really stand out. It sounded like a lot to this is to me, and you might disagree, from his last album, which wasn't that good. I think it sounded like a lot of those songs, and I just don't think for me it was anything special.
Wait, which Lil Baby album wasn't good?
The one that has the song Cocaine on it, has the Meek Mill song. I think that's the last one, right? Or he dropped something after.
Oh yeah.
Like that album wasn't. I think
Lil Baby.
I think Lil Baby and Gunna, they're above Migos in this description, but I think they fall into the more feature single. Like I don't think their albums will ever be. Actually, no. I mean, Lil Baby's had some decent albums, but I don't think Lil Baby's gonna drop like a album of the year level project in his life.
Okay. And moving on. What do we have written down here? Drake and Future. What were you referring to when you?
Future? The Life is Good song.
Oh yeah, is that what it was?
A single. Yeah.
Oh right.
So at first listen, like obviously we all are huge like Drake and Future fans. All love this is a huge What Time to Be Alive podcast. Drake at first I was like he's just kind of talking, and the beat switch with Future, and I thought it was really good. But after more and more listens, specifically at like one of these clubs in London, they played it. I'm like, okay, this song is actually very hot, and honestly, it's in the top of my rotation right now, and I put songs first.
Well, that should tell you how I really felt about the song.
Like
yeah, that should tell you how I felt about the song. The fact that I didn't even like remember it. It was like I don't know. It felt like we were saying. It felt like two songs literally stitched together, and like Drake's part was like I was like, but then Future's part I thought was better. But it was just like okay, but I didn't really like it that much.
Yeah, I didn't understand a lot of the hate on this song. I didn't really like it that much when I first listened, but as I listened more, I kind of started to get in the groove of the Drake verse, and then of course the beat switch was kind of weird and out of place.
Very odd.
The second beat
was pretty clear that
which was bizarre.
I think it was pretty clear that there was just two songs they put together to call a collab, but I think each individual part is good in itself. I think the Future part is really good, actually.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think
What's
Gonna Be Alive 2 is dropping very soon.
Yeah, I was just about to say that same thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good sign then. Selena.
Didn't even listen to this.
Gomez.
Didn't listen.
I didn't listen to that either.
I just put it on there just kind of set up the fact that like something we're going to talk about in a little bit about how she was begging for people to stream it so it could get to number one. So
stupid.
If we're doing pop, I mean, I didn't listen to the whole thing, but I enjoy Halsey's music. It's pretty good. Nothing like I'm not even pop.
And like in other genres, we had that. Halsey I liked. We had the new Aussie single, which I thought was really, really good.
Yeah, listen with the Elton John song.
Yeah, I think his new album is going to be really, really good. Because the two singles that we've gotten off of it so far have been very good, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I also didn't put it on there, but Mira Massa dropped. Like
I saw that. I haven't listened yet.
I haven't either.
Well, me and our friend Colin Lav, some of you may know him. He's a huge Mira Massa fan. Kind of put me onto him. We were really worried about in the kind of lead up to this album. Like he dropped quite a few singles to the leading up, and most of them weren't that good. They weren't really Mira Massa type songs, but the album dropped and he kind of returned to what he succeeded in the past, and it's a pretty good album.
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah.
That's really all we have for music, I think. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. 2 weeks.
So yeah, not a lot of pretty big stuff actually. So that's good. So culture. We have the Astros cheating scandal, obviously a very big one.
Now.
And Red Sox. I don't know. I think people overhype the Red Sox involvement.
It definitely affects the Red Sox, at least in terms of Alex Cora. But
yeah,
they're still getting investigated.
Again, as with most serious things nowadays, I like the humor and the memes that have come out of it. It's just like people seem to be looking for like the tiniest inklings of like little stupid details. And it's like
someone's knocking on my door.
Sure, but like I was saying, you just keep seeing these like close-ups of like players' jerseys, and they're like, is there a wire under there? Is there like
Yeah.
And like that has some pretty far-reaching implications as far as what other teams were involved and stuff like that. But
there's a lot of teams starting to get like the Yankees now. Like, but a lot of the clips have been surfacing on Twitter of the like banging of the trash can or whatever, and that's like, I mean, Jose Altuve, he had a walk-off to like win a series. It was like an 0-2 pitch or whatever, and he just like casually with batting practice just nailed it because he knew it was coming. Like, I don't think they would have won that World Series, or they still could have, but it wouldn't have been as easy without that cheating.
Like, I can't even imagine the advantage you get by knowing everything that's coming.
Oh my god, yeah, that's like Hinch and them will never coach.
Like that's probably that's. I can't even think of a sport where you could have that much of an advantage. You know what I mean?
I mean, Spygate to an extent was kind of similar, but there's like it's way more complex.
I was gonna say there's so many more like variables.
Yeah.
And as much as, oh, sorry, you go.
No, go on, sorry.
I was saying, as much as I hate them, you gotta feel for the Dodgers because the two major ones are Red Sox and Astros, both against the Dodgers in like the World Series in that playoff run. So even though I hate the Dodgers, I do feel kind of bad they were on the wrong end of cheating 2 years in a row.
I was hearing a debate about this. What do you think? Is steroids or this? What do you think is like the worst form of cheating?
This, because you could be roided up, and yeah, you're gonna crush a ball when you
still
hit
strike
it.
out.
You can still strike out.
Yeah, and I've also heard some question like, should any of the players be held responsible? Like, should Altuve be given a suspension? Like, it's pretty clear that it'll
probably.
Yeah.
Because
I think it's funny because the Astros are like kind of America's darling, Altuve and all of them, and now like when I think of Altuve, I just like want to vomit. So
yeah, it's bad.
Not the best PR stunt for the Astros.
Yeah.
I mean,
cool to see some baseball memes on Twitter though. Good
honestly, this is I was gonna say this might be the best thing that's happened to baseball in a long time. Because people are talking about it.
I'm excited for the next season.
Yeah. It's the first good storyline we've had in a long time for like something just happening because
No, World War III was pretty good last week too.
No, I'm saying as far as baseball goes.
Oh, baseball. I thought you were talking about in general. Yeah. I only remember the last big baseball story.
And then
you may have already said a second ago, but what do you think about the Sox involvement? You think we were involved?
I don't see any direct involvement other than guilty by association. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I honestly I've actually read more about the Astros stuff than the Red Sox stuff, so I'm not going to comment.
I don't see much there, and the fact that they're coming out and saying we're clean and all this just makes me think that even if they did do any digging, they probably wouldn't find anything. So that's an encouraging sign.
I don't know. I think they're going to get slapped too.
I think they will too. Either way, I'm kind of done with Cora.
I don't think it'll be as bad as I don't think it'll be that bad though.
It's just a wild guess here, but I'm assuming Cora was kind of the mastermind. I don't know if there's any way that he didn't take this system that he created that was clearly working. They won a World Series and then just didn't implement it in his new managerial position.
Well, I would think that would be my first guess, but then the fact that it's like they're going to investigate and they're going to look for this stuff, but the fact that you have people like JD Martinez and everybody that are just like they can look all they want and they're not going to find anything. We didn't do anything. It's like okay, maybe they didn't, but
we'll find out.
Obviously, hopefully, but okay. Next up, we have the Hernandez documentary. I've watched.
You guys get a chance to watch this?
I've watched the first 2
episodes. I haven't watched it yet, but I've seen a lot about it.
The film, it's very well done, and it's like filmed fantastically, and it's very engaging, and it's like your prototypical Netflix documentary that just keeps you hooked.
Yeah, I watched the full thing, but I definitely wouldn't recommend it to anybody who wasn't invested in either Aaron Hernandez himself or invested in the NFL because it's not particularly interesting.
No,
in terms of like a murder mystery, because I think it's as far as all the Netflix documentaries I've seen like about these murders, like this is the most clear one of somebody actually doing it. Like this. So much against him, it's ridiculous.
There's no doubt.
So that aspect, there's really no suspense in that.
It's not like making a murderer or evil genius. Oh yeah, genius. But we could have a whole episode just talking about evil genius one time.
Yeah.
So really not much to say about that. But now we have a very.
I would like to say one thing on it. I think it's just CTE. I think it's just another example of CTE just fucking over these players. Like Luke Kuechly retired.
CTE combination of just weird life situations, and just a lot of unfortunate circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
But so next up we have the Bieber and Selena Gomez begging for streams to get their songs rising, which I think is just like, come on.
I think it's shocking that Roddy Ricch.
Do you really need to do
not
that?
Been relevant. Roddy Ricch has been relevant for only a couple months now, is beating Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez, arguably the 2 biggest pop artists of the decade.
Yeah.
Because The Box is just an unbelievable song. And the rest of the album sucks too, which also I think is kind of funny.
I don't know. That Bieber song, you couldn't pay me to listen to it again, so it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to stream that and get it to...
Yeah, terrible song.
Number 1.
Terrible song. I think we can all agree.
And I heard the Selena song isn't even great either, the Selena Gomez song.
Or album.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
even. I'm not even aware of any song like I didn't know her album was until like I saw that video pretty much, and I honestly thought that her doing that was like a shot at Bieber because it just seemed so weird that she would do that like right after Bieber did it and that he got so much shit for it. And I think it was honestly think it was probably a shot at him. Wouldn't be surprised.
Could have been. Could have been. Could very well have been. I don't know.
I think it's so funny that's the box. Like that's
Yeah, it's
like
not
such
even
like
like
a weird song. It's not like Stick a Mode or something. It's just like the box by Roddy Ricch, who no one knew a year ago.
I don't even think that song's that good.
Oh, I love the box. I play it now, even if I dislike it, just to like keep Selena and JB mad. Even though I do like both of them.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I never thought they would need to do that, but it's like why? I
Whatever.
don't get it. Yeah, it's weird. But
Why
okay.
do I care so much?
I don't know.
Just
Like you've never had problems
$2.
getting streams before, and if it's good, people are gonna listen to it. So, especially if it's you guys, because you have some of the biggest hardcore stands around.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I don't want to talk about that anymore. So next we have NFL. Obviously big with the
A lot of games happened.
Yeah.
Well, first we got the last week's
We'll
games,
touch on the
like
old
the
games.
Ravens.
Yeah, do we even need to touch on that?
I just want to touch on the Ravens losing. I thought that was probably one of my favorite games of the year. I was very excited about that.
Dude, we were at that was the one we watched at Barrett's Ale House, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were there when we watched that, and
I was on my flight to London, and I get like the sports notifications, and I was like, oh, I wonder how much the Ravens won by. The first notification I get is like, Derrick Henry 200 yards. Like I was like, what the fuck?
Dude, we were at Barrett's. We were at Barrett's. I already had a little bit of vodka in me. I was very happy.
What was the other game? I don't even remember. It was like the
Packers and
Niners Vikings, right?
The Packers.
Couldn't tell you one thing that happened in that game. Again,
and then we had Texans Chiefs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Colossal collapse by the Texans, but I don't think anyone's surprised.
I was so excited for that second quarter the first quarter when they went up by 24. I was like, oh.
And then they just choked.
Oh.
But Mahomes was too good. And then last night's game,
the Kansas City game had me annoyed because I was like, Tennessee started off strong, and I'm like, all right, yes, let's go. But then they did like nothing for the remainder of the game almost.
Yeah, they did a good job of stopping Henry, which is like after it makes sense. He's had 2 weeks of running for 200 yards.
They're gonna exclusively game plan around him.
Yeah, and Reed's a good enough coach where he can make some sort of game plan.
Yep.
Yeah, and once that Chiefs offense gets in a rhythm, and it's really, really difficult to stop. Their weapons are just insane. It's
ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
And then Niners killing the Packers.
Love to see that.
Didn't watch that much. Didn't really watch that.
I watched like 3/4 of it, and then I was just like, all right, I'm going home because I was at my sister's house.
So awesome. Fuck Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
What do we got? Predictions?
Do we have some? Yeah.
I would love to see Garoppolo get another ring.
Yeah, I think we're all rooting for the Niners. I think the Niners are going to win too.
I got the Niners big. I think the line right now is 1.5. Chiefs.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm taking the Niners. I'm taking that. I might put a big bet down. I
might put one down as well.
I think it's either Niners big or Chiefs close one.
I'm very confident the Niners are going to win.
The Niners have such a solid team.
Yeah. I just don't think Mahomes is going to be able to move the ball like he has been this Niners team.
No, they have good. Yeah, they have good
I
corners.
think Mahomes can show up. I think
he's going to have to.
I think he's going to be the best player in the game, no matter the outcome, without a question. But
he's probably going to have to be if.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be a great game.
I'm excited for it.
I'm still pretty pissed the Pats aren't in it, but
of course, it felt so weird watching the conference championships with like the Pats not even being in the picture.
Wouldn't you have loved to have seen a Niners Patriots Super Bowl, the Garoppolo versus Brady?
Yeah,
We all
I
know
would
what
never
he
end up getting like a Brady Rogers, Brady Breeze, which I thought I would have bet everything that would have at least one of those would have happened in my lifetime.
Yeah, you would have thought, wouldn't you?
I know, really
We
stunning
got
that never
Jared
happened.
Goff, Matt Ryan, Nick Foles. Like, I mean, I'll take the wins, but
They just never could get there.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, good game we're looking forward to in February.
For sure.
Next we have
probably have a bigger discussion about it next week. Maybe a little more in detail discussion like before the game.
Oh yeah, I'd like to do like a full breakdown of stuff.
Yeah.
I want to do like matchups and stuff. That'd be fun.
That would be.
Next we have royal family stuff. Like how much are we gonna? I don't know.
I'm our correspondent. I'm in London right now. I was
What's the sentiment down there?
Yeah. Have you listened to any drunk people in the pubs?
News and there's like talking about it, but it's just like all over the news, and I haven't really heard like opinions on it. But I was at Buckingham. It was a zoo there as always. My personal thoughts is whatever. Obviously, it doesn't affect my life.
Yeah,
I like Markle and Harry a lot, so
they seem to want to be more of like the mainstream type celebrities than the royal family celebrity type.
Yeah, and I heard Bill Maher talking about this. Like, what are we even doing in 2020? Calling people like Your Highness.
Yeah, like what is that?
Calling another human Your Highness. Like, what is this?
Oh yeah, what power does she have?
I'm sick and tired of Parliament. They just take money and just don't do shit.
And like the queen's in like massive debt as well, so it's like what?
Yeah.
The queen.
Imagine that. Imagine like marrying into like the royal family, and you're just gifted like all this land and houses, and you get money for nothing. It's like why?
Like it's
so outdated, and you tell people they're like, oh, it's tradition. It's like so doesn't mean it's not stupid.
All royal families eventually end. These guys need to get out of here.
Yeah.
I'm done with them. It doesn't affect my
family.
You don't still see like shoguns in China.
My family loves the royal family. Like my grandmother's like obsessed. She watches all like the weddings and shit. But my parents are into it too, and they were like arguing about it for like 2 hours when they were driving me back down to school. Like my dad thinks that they should have stayed in, and my mom said it was okay to leave, but it was like ridiculous. Like shut up.
Like, you know what's funny?
You're not even British.
Yeah, you know what's funny is my brother-in-law Jason, British. He hates the royal family, so I'm just like, oh well, if he hates it, then.
Yeah, I just hate them because like I don't know.
Okay, well, I mean, yeah, really not much to say about that. We have a discussion topic here for posthumous albums.
In light of
in light of the Mac Miller album, we already go.
Yeah, my views on those is I think it's very situational, and if this person clearly had a project that they were working on and it was almost finished, and you can tell it's a cohesive project, sure. If you're just taking snippets of like unreleased like little parts and songs like they've clearly done to X for so long, it's like stop doing that because you're diluting his body of work. You know, he has great albums that he put out, and then you're just putting out compilations of stuff he never would have probably put out. So it's like, why are you doing that? You're doing that for money.
Yeah, in light of that X point, they put out 4 albums after he died. They put out Skins, Members Only 4, Question Mark Deluxe, and then this other atrocity that is I forget what it's called. I don't remember what.
I actually don't remember. Out of those 4, I think Skins has a couple of good songs on it.
That is the best one. That definitely is the best one. It makes sense. They released the best one like shortly after.
Like those are pretty much completed songs, and some of them have question mark vibes.
Yeah, but it's extremely clear that the last one.
They were scraping the bottom of the barrel. Yeah.
Yeah, that was. He's not even on any of them. It's just like a chorus, and then like a feature, and then some instrumental. Like he has no verses. It's ridiculous. Clearly a money grab.
Yeah.
Like I was saying earlier, I do actually think the Mac Miller one was good, but I think that's due to the fact that I think it was almost complete. I agree with Gordine. If it's almost complete and you can add a bit more, yeah, I think it should happen. I think that's what like the deceased would want. But if you have these snippets, maybe even if like a compilation like one is good, just release them as singles. You don't need to like put it into an album. Like that's just more for money.
Or do what they used to do for like do what they did for like Jimi Hendrix when they did like unfinished songs and snippets and stuff like that. Don't call it an album. You know what I mean?
But I feel like every has, like for example, Lil Peep. He's mostly done singles, and like the one with X is really falling down is really good. Like just kind of
That one's really good.
Yeah, do the ones that you think will be hits and do those as singles.
Yeah, I agree.
And I really hope they don't do the same thing to Juice World because allegedly he has 2,000 unreleased songs. That's what I've heard, or at least because he made like 5 songs every day or something.
That's insane.
So depending on who is running his estate right now, I could easily see at least one, if not 2, Juice World projects. But who knows? Maybe they're good, but they're probably gonna be bad.
They're probably gonna be bad because I mean, if he didn't release them, then it's like, why not?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah. I have another thing we should probably talk about now that we actually can, and that's Star Wars.
I was just gonna say we should talk about that.
We should talk about that because I feel like we haven't covered that. We mainly didn't cover that because Dino hadn't seen it, but he's seen it since, and this is the first time we've been able to get on here, so I think we should probably cover it, and it's good because I think Longer, you actually start to you kind of like it now.
Look, I don't love it, but I do think it's the best out of the new trilogy.
And me and Sonny don't really like it. Well, it's for that point, I will say, as far as the subject matter goes, I think it is the best like subject matter because it's like, okay, this is actually interesting stuff. I think it might be the worst like film.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
So here, let me just lay out my list of grievances to the church. So what I did not like about this movie was so let's start with like the opening crawl, right? We have the overarching enemy of the entirety of the Star Wars like saga, mythos, whatever you want to call it.
Revived again just to die.
Revives. How? I don't know. But what does he do? He gives some like long distance satellite radio broadcast, and it's like, "Yo, I'm back," and everybody like nobody like. First of all, I love how nobody cared. Like it was like everybody reacted so like mundanely. They were just like, "The Emperor's back," and Leia was like, "Oh no!" But like nobody like. I was like, you would think like people would be more like, "Oh, the tyranny of the entire like galaxy just came back." And so that was odd that how they just didn't explain how he came back. I don't know how he came back. Like, what was he doing? Like, he fell to the bottom of that thing. It's like, what happened to him?
And he exploded. Right?
He like blew up.
Spoiler alert, but like you find out Rey's his granddaughter. Like, who fucked Palpatine? And why?
Yeah, that is a huge question.
Like, was it while
not getting any of the powers?
We got to think of how old Rey is. Rey's like, she's supposed to be like 19, 20.
20.
Yeah, she's supposed to be like 20. So it's like, okay, 20 years back. 20 years back is like still.
No,
so and then her dad,
yeah,
and then her dad was like probably 30. He was probably like 30, 20s, 30s. So then you take 30 before that, you're in around original trilogy time. Maybe a little before, so it's like, yeah, so it was like while he was like emperor, while he was sitting in that chair looking all gross. It wasn't even when he was like Palpatine. So he railed somebody. I don't know who it was, but
why did the Jedi powers skip the sun? It's never happened before.
They might have, and they just didn't show it. But like, did his son was like, okay, my dad's a jerk, and there was just so many like unexplained things. And I thought the story as a whole focused on a lot of the wrong things when there were so many glaring questions that still needed to be answered to like, how did we get to this point? Why are things the way they are? That it was just like, these aren't the questions I want answered. Like, I don't, like, no offense, but I don't really care about Rey. It's like, you know what I mean? The fact that you have to rely on like original trilogy content to like, just shows that, the ideas that you probably had for this trilogy didn't pan out. Because I guarantee you, when JJ set up Snoke in The Force Awakens, he was like, all right, I'm going to make him this big badass type of force. But then Ryan Johnson decided to kill him. So it's just like I feel like he just had to kind of scramble. And
Yeah,
The
totally.
Last Jedi got so much negative backlash that he was like, okay, I need to do something. So he was like, all right, we're bringing back Palpatine, which is like, it's kind of a cop out, but it's like, okay,
Mando.
I can understand why you wanted to do that, but it's like, I don't know. I think it was just handled kind of poorly.
I think it was rushed. They spent so long just trying to find that compass, which another pothole is how did Ray just like no, it was like that happened to Death Star, so just a semicircle,
That was
and
was
there was like
bizarre.
a half hour left in the movie, and they had so much to do, and there's just a million things going on at once. So they just like it was just I don't know. I did not. I think it was. I'm still debating if it's worse than Last Jedi. I think Force Awakens is the clear best in this trilogy. I don't think that's a great movie either, but this whole trilogy just is so disappointing.
What I don't get is okay. Vader tosses Palpatine down that shaft. He explodes. Somehow, after he explodes, he gets in this like little hover chair, goes into the unknown regions somehow through this like freaking twisty like little SSX tricky racetrack that Kylo Ren has to go through, and then gets into that big floating Lego cube, and then sits there, and then has like an entire like fleet just there. Like, there's so many questions there, and it's like they just kind of ignore it, and they're just like, you know what, just it's there, trust us. It's like, but how? That makes no sense because it's like it makes like the First Order kind of like irrelevant because you know that there's like a bigger thing out there, and it's like, well, why did we even care about this whole thing in the first place?
Do you want to hear why I liked it more than The Last Jedi, at least?
Sure.
All right. So I think you got to start with what I didn't like about The Last Jedi is which would be okay. I disliked most of it, but I didn't like how they treated Luke. I didn't like.
Agreed.
Obviously, I didn't like the subplot between
Rose and Finn
and Rose or whatever, and I didn't like Holdo. Whatever is that even like Holdo?
Holdo, yeah.
I did not like any of that.
Yeah.
So that left like the only parts I liked was the relationship between Rey and Kylo. I'm not saying I like the fact that they like kissed at the end. I didn't like that.
I forgot about
that was bizarre. That was bizarre.
But I did.
There was no
did like.
attraction to that.
But I did like the idea of them like having like a connection or both of them trying to turn the other to their side. And that's part of the reason why I liked a lot of what they did with their relationship in Rise of Skywalker. They spent a lot of time on that. They developed that pretty well. Like a good chunk of the movie is them like.
Lovely. Well,
I think we
may never know. We may never know. He might come back because we should probably finish this discussion. But another thing that I can say is like the random addition of all these like new force powers and like unexplained. Like they didn't really explain that like force link thing very well.
Rey was more powerful than Yoda and Luke.
Yeah, he's a Skywalker, she's a Palpatine, and it's like what makes that force link? I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Palpatine like sucks the life out of them to like get his strength back, how are they still alive? And how do they get up and just keep fighting? It's like I assuming you're taking like their life force away, so it's like I don't. Yeah, and then he like shoots all that force lightning up into like it was just odd. It was odd.
We never watched it again.
Yeah, I highly doubt I'm ever gonna watch that again.
So yeah.
Oh yeah, his computer died. He said, hold on, he's gonna be back in a second. He's plugging it in.
I mean, do you have anything else you want to touch on? I think we
can keep going. What other movies do we see? Oh, we saw wait, no, we talked about that a while ago. I saw Underwater with Kristen Stewart. And we saw I think I saw that with Thurber, Ben, Rhoda, friends of ours, and that was a movie about it was like basically they were in this drill that was at the bottom of the Marianas Trench, and essentially like it like busted open and they were like trying to survive from these like creatures, and it was actually a very fun movie, and like Kristen Stewart was very good in it. The cast was like really good, and like yeah, I would definitely recommend that movie because it's like one of those movies where it's like it's not gonna like wow you with its like plot or it's like anything, but it's just like it was a good time to watch, and I had a great ending.
It's on my list actually. I watched On the Plane Here again. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Want to give it a second watch because I liked it, but I kind of like I was drawn to go back again. I like it even more now. Just
Oh yeah,
I think
that's
Leo
definitely a type of
phenomenal
movie where
now.
it's like once you observe the plot and then you can go back and like look at more of the
That's what I
details.
wanted to do. Actually, see all the little details.
Yeah, and it's very well done.
Oh,
It's
it's
very well done.
phenomenal. I will admit it's slow. It's a bit slow.
Yeah,
All the movies are
it's
slow,
definitely
but I
a
think this
slow
one's
burn.
extra slow. But doesn't mean slow doesn't mean bad. I think that's like
No,
kind of a
no, some
weird
movies are
connotation.
some movies are like perfectly paced, and it wouldn't they wouldn't be the same if they were paced any other way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
we're just gonna wait for him. What was I gonna say? What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something and I can't remember what I was gonna say now.
Let's discuss
Something
something.
about I don't know if it was about NBA, NFL, it was about something. What's going on in those
Um.
right now? Oh, did you hear Chandler Parsons might have to have
Oh yeah.
yeah, his career might be over because some DUI dude hit him.
And this isn't like 2 in the afternoon too.
Yeah,
So
it's messed
what a
up.
bump.
That's
Don't
awful.
drink and drive if you do.
Yeah, I know. That's awful. Chandler Parsons. Remember when he was all the rage?
He
He was
got
good.
paid a lot of money to
He did
suck.
get paid a lot of money.
Yeah,
He kind of
he's good but overpaid.
yeah. He kind of disappeared.
Um. So I guess we can we definitely do want to keep this podcast going.
Oh, let me
It's gonna be
quick.
obviously now we're all back at school. We knew we were onto Skype, and then with Dino missing, that's gonna be a frequent thing. People are gonna be missing, but we're definitely gonna the train will keep going.
We'll
And
definitely
then this summer, over the
do
summer,
it
we'll definitely really
with
get going.
everybody that we can. And
Bring more guests,
bro,
definitely.
I just tried to call you, fool.
What's up?
That's long ago.
Oh, there you go. All right. We finished up talking about Last Jedi. I talked about that underwater movie that I saw. And you got anything else you want to talk about?
I don't know, anything from the last 2 weeks.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, there's nothing. I think we
have you
touched
guys been up to anything interesting?
Not particularly. Not anything more interesting than normal.
I
The
think.
go, Sonny.
Oh, you finished. Sorry.
The Oscar nominations came out, so maybe next week we can take a look at that. Maybe get some
Ooh.
predictions because
That's what I
Oscar
was gonna
season's
say.
coming up.
I
That's
think
good.
next week's gonna be a dead week. Seems like not a lot's going on in the news. There's no music anticipated, so I think we'll have some cool segments planned out.
Yeah, we could
Next week.
think of some
Yeah, it's a
fun
good
things
idea.
to talk about.
That's a good idea.
We could do that, and we can do the Super Bowl thing as well.
Super Bowl preview. Oh, we got the Grammys. We got the Grammys this week, I think.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really?
Go over those. See if we
Let me
agree
see.
with the
Grammys 2020.
prediction.
Sunday, January 26th. So yeah, that's next Sunday. So
Yeah,
next Monday
will be
will
after
be
that.
the day after.
Cool.
Oh, we could have done Grammy predictions today.
Well, whatever.
Wait, you want to just do rap album of the year real quick? What we think?
Yeah, go ahead. Just
Yeah,
tell
I don't
us
even know
what
what the nominees are.
tell us what the nominees are. You guys got anything fun planned in the next week?
I just planned a
That's a
trip to go to Florence.
Really?
For the nominations for
Sweet.
rap album of the year, we got Revenge of the Dreamers, Championships, Meek Mill, I Am, Greater Than I Was, 21 Savage, Igor, and The Lost Boy by YMB Corden.
Igor.
Yeah, probably Igor.
Yeah, I mean for me it's Igor, but who knows with what the
Yeah, you never know
the
what
Academy
those
Igor deserved it.
experts are gonna pick.
Yeah, but that's really the only
Igor,
one on there.
I think it will be Igor.
Yeah,
It should be Igor.
I agree. I was gonna say, I was thinking about taking like a because this is like usually the summer that I go on vacation. Like I try to go on a vacation every other year. I was thinking about Japan.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And I'm seriously considering that. I got all those like free travel guides that you can get on those like websites and shit. And I might pull the trigger on that honestly soon. Maybe like spend 2 weeks.
You're You
What
know,
would you
you
do in
it.
Japan? Go to Tokyo?
Oh, I'd go to Tokyo. I have like kind of like a whole thing planned out. There's all these sites that I want to hit, and a lot of sites and a lot of shops, like famous shops. They have that big Pokemon store, and they have a Naruto park
That's sick.
that I'd definitely love to go to, and they have all kinds of crazy stuff that I want to do there. But yeah, I'm trying to brush up on my Japanese,
That'd
and
be,
I mean out of all the Asian countries, they speak the most English. So
yeah.
yeah, but you still like to learn it. But yeah, so you said you booked a thing to Florence.
Tentative. We're probably gonna plan it tomorrow, but yeah, it definitely
That's
Italy.
yeah, that's a great place. I love that place. I haven't been in 6, 7 years, but it's so good. But yeah, I mean, I think that's probably a good place to wrap it up.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe we'll invite Sammy Watkins, Kurt Super Bowl
Thanks for
Yeah.
inviting this week.
participant on the
I mean,
podcast.
he's
Work done.
he's definitely gonna want to come on here and give his case for things. I mean,
PS4 friend.
PS4
Right.
friend. Yep.
right,
Yep.
yeah, fellow
Sammy, yeah.
board of trustees in the Bridgewater Dome. Uh, so yeah, all right. So I think
Thank you very much, Paul.
that'll do it. All right, we kind of rambled at the end, but whatever. All right, peace out.
It was at like 6 a.m. here.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. We realized we neglected to mention the Conor McGregor fight, which is
We
massive.
got to hear about underwater.
Yeah, because sorry, I'm talking about a Kristen Stewart movie where we neglected to mention a Conor McGregor fight. So yeah, where were we all when we watched this? I was at Ben Nelson's house, a friend of ours, and yeah, and the card honestly a little bit underwhelming. The fights preceding it, like especially the main card fights. Actually, there was one where it was that Alexei Russian guy. I thought that was a great BJJ showcase, and
Yeah,
I
that
thought
was a good fight.
that was very nice. But then that main event when he came out, throws the wild left, cowboy ducks underneath it, and he hits him with those shoulder strikes and busts his nose. I've never seen anybody hit shoulder strikes that vicious before. Then he hits him with the head kick, goes for the flying knee, gets him on the ground, and you could tell it was just over. But that was a statement comeback. And I'm a massive UFC fan,
So happy.
Probably my
So
favorite
happy.
sport. And yeah, it's a huge comeback statement win for him, and that just shows that he probably would be fine hanging with anybody they throw him up with. No ring luster whatsoever.
Yeah, you guys know I'm a big McGregor fan. Even though the last couple years he's kind of gotten kind of weird, hasn't really lived up to his trash talk and done some questionable things. But this whole fight week, he was very humble, kind of a different vibe from him. And then to see him act like that and then come out and then kick the fuck out of Cowboy was just cool to see.
Yep.
And I hope we're gonna get either a Masvidal fight or a Khabib fight or something good. And whatever that fight's gonna be, it's gonna be a huge fight.
Dana White said could be a rematch.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which is good.
Easy the least versed in UFC out of this group, but I still think I know more than the average person. McGregor is probably up there with John Jones, my two favorites. And I was still awake. It was 6 a.m. here. I was just back from night out. So I saw it live on my phone. I was just so excited. And I'm just so happy to see McGregor. I just feel like even if you don't like him, I just think it's like right in the UFC world that McGregor is fighting and winning. Like everything just
love to see
right
it.
now.
That's where he belongs. So potential matchups. Masvidal fight would be very fun. Both very great personalities. And I think that would be just as fighting goes. I think that would be like a very interesting matchup. Whereas, they're both strikers and they both, they have ground games if need be. Whereas Khabib, Conor has the clear strike advantage on paper, and his striking looks as good as ever. But obviously, it's that relentless takedown wrestling, just smothering by Khabib. That is the main crux of his attack, and nobody's been able to figure it out yet.
Yeah, I'd obviously rather have the Masvidal fight first, just because I think there's a higher percent chance that Conor wins it, just because
I would agree.
It suits his style far more.
I would agree.
And
Khabib's a whole different animal.
It would just be much more entertaining than that kind of, take you to the ground style Khabib is so famous for.
Yeah, and very effective. In other UFC news, we have Bones versus Dominic Reyes coming up very soon, in a few weeks actually. And I don't think that's gonna pose any trouble to the GOAT. I think he's just gonna
Per
maul him.
usual. Per usual.
Yeah,
Not worried.
not worried at all. He's talking a big game, but he's just gonna get knocked down. And then in other combat sports, we have Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder.
Yeah, very
Given
exciting.
their rematch, that's gonna be crazy. I did not agree with the decision of the first fight. I thought Tyson Fury won that pretty handily, but
I think the judges were swayed by that knockdown at the end.
yeah, judges have a very short term memory loss. They just remember like the last thing they see. But yeah, I think he just outboxed him that fight, and I'm going to be very interested to see because if anything, I think Tyson Fury's cardio has only gotten better. So yeah, that's going to be very interesting.
Rooting heavy for Deontay there because if he loses, there's a chance that we don't get that Joshua fight. But if he wins, then I think that's the only real fight left for him.
I'd be fine with either of those two versus Joshua.
Yeah,
because I mean, Joshua would have to beat either of those, whoever wins this, in order to unify the championships, all the belts. So
Josh was a pussy, so who knows if he would do that in general.
Yeah, who knows. All right. Well, we just wanted to throw that in there because we realized we forgot a pretty big event. So yeah. All right. I think this is it for real this time. So all right. See you guys.